Shank Rock is the wave of the future. The diagrams that I have up, where did this go wrong at?
Remember, we didn't know this happened to her.
Okay. But that's in the trial. There's nobody on a jury that's going to watch these tapes. He done did 7 to 8 different interviews and a book where he done bragged, talked about this stuff in details.
Around 3 o'clock that morning, I got random text messages, and it was just pictures of her and the other little girl. I thought it was strange.
Now, some of y'all might say, who is Shank Rock? Shank Rock is black media. Well, what is black media? Black media is all about allowing black people to be themselves first. It's not about race. It's not about religion. It's not about politics. It's about doing what's right. It's about holding those that needs to be held accountable to be held accountable. I want to welcome everybody to this demonstration right here. This is the one. Run and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. This is the demonstration that Shank Rock is going to go where no man has ever went before. Salute to the chat. Salute to the replay gang. Salute to my moderators. I want to give a big salute to one of my supporters, Peaches. I appreciate you for always supporting me, Peaches. Salute to Peaches. Now, we know that the Ayatollah of Iran was taken out, right? I see you, Mel. Now, we got to understand, because I'm going to give y'all the good, the bad, and the ugly, all right? Look, I'm going to tell y'all some things that disappoint me about Trump, but I'm going to tell y'all some things that I pump my fists about Trump. All right. So everyone is welcome. But I want to go where no man has went before, because many believe that this war was started because of Trump. No. We've been beefing with Iran. All right. But I'm going to ask y'all this. Drop a one if you think that it was the perfect time to get the Ayatollah of Iran. Drop a 2 if you think we should have waited. See, it's all about timing. I learned this a long time ago. It's all about timing. You can study your opponent for months. You could hit the gym every day, 7 days out of the week. I mean, you can really prepare for your opponent, right? And then when you get face to face with your opponent, the timing might be off. You might have studied your opponent, but come game time, your opponent hits you with a move that you just wasn't prepared for. So you prepared up until the match, but because the timing wasn't right. So that's why I'm asking y'all about the timing. Now, appreciate your super sticker, Peaches. I see you, J Nick. I see you, J Nick. Sometimes I do feel like Trump is doing too much. Let me lay it all on the table. And y'all have heard me say this sometimes. Sometimes I felt like, he's doing too much. Then sometimes y'all hear me say he was right on the money with that move that he made. Now, when it comes to the Ayatollah, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, out of all of the Islamic countries in the Middle East, allegedly, Iran is the most powerful one when it comes to weapons, when it comes to technology, when it comes to muscle, when it comes to combat. I see you, OT. I see you, OT. Mel says we are years and years behind. So Iran, and I've done a little study on Iran. Iran is one of those countries that if they get the opportunity to rock you to sleep, they're going to rock you to sleep. I know. The majority of these conflicts that we had with the Middle East, the majority of them is over oil. However, I got to tell y'all, every conflict that the United States of America have with the Middle East, every conflict is not over oil. It's not. It's just like every time a black man get killed, it ain't drug related. So I just want y'all to keep that in the, not back of your mind, but keep that in the beginning part of your mind. Now, let me ask y'all this. Drop a 3 if you think the Iran conflict was over oil. Drop a 3. Drop a 4 if you think it wasn't. And just hang around. You know, we're going to get to the conflict between the United States and Iran. I will be dropping a link, and y'all know it's an open panel. Feel free to pull up and tell us and talk to us, because this is why I love having these open panels. And the reason why I love having these open panels is because I'm able to learn some things that I've never learned. I ain't worrying about what you learned. I ain't worrying about what he learned. I ain't worrying about what she learned. I'm only concerned about what I learned, because I can lead a horse to the water, but I can't force that horse to drink. People can come up on this panel, and I mean, they could drop jewels. They could give facts. The people still won't believe it. But I know what I believe. So that's why I have the open panels. I do have the open panels for everybody else, but it's hard. Y'all know it's hard convincing people. It's hard for me to convince people. I can sit up here and tell y'all 1 + 1 is 2. And just because Shank Rock said it, 9 out of 10 people ain't going to believe it. So you can believe what you want to believe. But back to what I was saying about the open panel. It is an open panel. Feel free to come up and give us your opinion. Give us some facts. Now, we saw the movie Friday. Drop a 5 if you saw it Friday. Right? In this movie, in this vein of Debo, right? Everybody was scared of Debo, right? On Craig and Smokey's block, everybody was scared. But remember what Smokey said. He don't be pulling that on them fools around the corner, right? There are some countries that the United States of America, regardless of what president that's in office, there's some countries that the United States of America, they ain't going to try to bully. Mel says, no, sir. Iran was threatening Trump and the U.S. because he was knocking the chess pieces down that was helping them plan to completely remove the U.S. from the Middle East. And let me just say this, my opinion, and Mel, if you choose to come up on a panel, we can, dialogue about this. If that's the case, if Iran was trying to eliminate Trump in the US out of the Middle East, was the Ayatollah, was he wrong? Drop a yes or a no. If what Mel says is to be true, was the Ayatollah, was he wrong? Because y'all, let's listen now. Let's listen. And this is if you're a Trump supporter or not. Why do the United States of America, why we got bases all over the world in all these countries, but can somebody name one base on U.S. soil that another country operates out of? So, and peep this, the United States of America gained its independence, I believe the year was 1776, right? They gained its independence. Now, for the first, after the United States gained its independence, the next 200 years, the United States was fighting the United States. You had the Civil War, the North versus the South, the war in Gettysburg. You had all these different wars that was fought on U.S. soil. So you mean to tell me that all these other countries been in existence for thousands of years, and just out of nowhere, the United States of America became the powerhouse? Let me see what my chat said. No, sir. Iran was threatened. Okay, I got to that. April dropped the 5. OT dropped the 5. Mel says wrong for what, Shank? April says there are none. Isaiah says Iran is going to get destroyed by the U.S. because the U.S. has better capabilities than Iran does. And you're right. This is a conflict of oil, but we're taking all the oil. Okay, let's look at Friday, right? Debo was Deboing the neighborhood, right? Remember what I said in the beginning of this demonstration about timing. If you ever lost a fight, if you ever lost in anything, you understand what I'm talking about, and you know exactly where I'm going at when I say timing. It's all about timing. Debo, in a million years, didn't think Craig was going to knock his ass out on Friday. Yes or no? Nobody saw Craig knocking Debo out on Friday. Craig didn't even see it. But what was it? Perfect timing. And I'm going to tell y'all what helped that perfect timing. I'm going to tell y'all what initiated the perfect timing. Y'all probably already know. If y'all saw the movie, y'all already know what initiated that perfect timing. Isaiah says, what is your phone number, Mel? I would like to talk to you about this Iran situation. Isaiah, let me drop the link. Mel and Isaiah, y'all are welcome. Matter of fact, y'all are more than welcome to hit the panel. Click on the blue StreamYard link, Isaiah and Mel, because I would love to hear y'all drop jewels on this. But the perfect timing was because it wasn't even Craig's beef. Listen now, listen. It wasn't even Craig's beef. But Debo messed with the wrong person. And that's all it took, was for somebody to stand up to Debo. Wasn't even Craig's beef. But because Debo slapped the shit out of Debbie, right? Y'all see where I'm going at with this? OT says correct. Let me bring Mel up. Salute, Mel.
Salute, Shane. You can hear me?
Yes, you sound fine.
All right, perfect. Salute, can you hear me, Shank?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
So, Isaiah, if you would like to speak with Mel, click the blue StreamYard link and come on up, and you and Mel can dialogue. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, and this is the reason why I wanted to do this demonstration, because Iran, they're not backing down. And I know, Shank, we more stronger than them. But what if a bigger country, what if a country that can match our military, what if there's a country that can match our weapons? What if there's a country that can match our technology, decides to say, you know what? I'm going to hop into this beef. Same way we always hopping into other people's beef. Didn't we hop into the Ukraine and Russia beef? Ain't we in the Israeli-Palestine beef? We any beef that Israel get in, don't we hop into it? So the point that I'm landing is on Friday, nobody thought that Craig was going to knock Debo out. Debo ain't see it. Craig ain't see it because Craig ain't beefing with Debo. Craig ain't trying to beef with Debo. But perfect timing. You couldn't have got no better than that. No man is going to sit around and watch another man slap the shit out of a woman. Win, lose, or draw. He just got to kick my ass. And I'm sure every man that's watching this feel the same way. But perfect timing. Let Mel come in and get a little bit of this food. Slide in, Mel.
If you could just explain to me one thing what you mean when you say perfect timing. What do you mean by that?
Okay, perfect timing is like, okay, have you ever seen Friday?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I was saying now, everybody was scared of Debo. But when Debo slapped Debbie, that was the perfect timing. Like, and you might call it an opportunity because it could be an opportunity or it could be just a humble. It could be classified as anything that you want to classify it as. But I'm just saying, for me, I believe that was the perfect timing because nobody saw it. The perfect timing is never planned.
Exactly.
Never planned.
Exactly. So with that being said, I'm gonna tell you something that a reporter asked Marco Rubio. He asked him about Marco Rubio has always been very voiceful about this. He's been talking about this since 2011, right? But now that he is Secretary of State, they asked him, like one thing, what is he learning, carrying on under Trump? And he said because Trump does everything fast. Like when he say he's going to do something, he do it. He don't wait around and, sit back. He does it fast. It was important for this. This was the perfect timing because they wasn't expecting it. Even though your Ayatollah had been threatening Trump,
Let me slide.
So that's how they was able to go. Not only they take out him, they took out about 45 of their leaders. So
let me slide
not even the next man up.
Let me slide it. Isaiah says, I'll hold off on the StreamYard, but if Mel wants to talk to me privately on the phone, she can do that due to the whole camera situation. I don't like putting my face on the internet. You can turn your camera off, Isaiah. I doubt it if Mel was going to want to talk to you. Mel don't know you. So you can turn your camera off the same way Mel has her camera off. When you click the StreamYard link, just turn your camera off. But it's up to you, Mel, if you want to talk to Isaiah on the phone. Now, let me go here, y'all. Let me go here for a second.
night skies over Tehran turning orange as Iranians experience some of the heaviest bombardment of this war. State media saying that the strikes hit a gas depot and an oil refinery. This after a warning by President Trump that Iran today would be hit hard. Earlier, it was Iran's busiest airport that was the target. Israel later saying it was being used to transfer weapons in the region. Today's attacks on Iran coming after strikes on U.S. oil giants Halliburton and KBR. Fire breaking out in the U.S. continue to trade blows with Iran. Neighboring countries continue to be dragged into this conflict. But the Iranian president today striking a different tone. Masoud Pezeshkian apologizing to Middle East neighbors, saying the regime will no longer attack them unless their territory is used to attack Iran.
Okay, now let me let Isaiah and Mel have their conversation. Salute, Isaiah.
Salute, Isaiah.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Iran wanted to assassinate Trump. That's why he took out Iran. And their nuclear program.
Well, I agree. But Canada is going back to Debo. But when guys, like when Trump first got in office, he was immediately going over. Remember, he was doing all the peace talks with everybody. Everybody was coming on board, like, peace. Everybody just want to get together and make money. You know what I mean? But when you talk about Shank,
what you mean? Go ahead.
and Shank, when you talk about why we have bases,
Isaiah.
Yeah.
Is he talking? I can mute.
Go ahead, Mel.
When you ask about why we have bases all over, you not only, like, say in the United States, you know how we have laws, right? There are world laws too that all countries must follow. And so normally the strongest country is going to provide, it's sort of like, let me see. What's the best example I can give you? You know how, like, when you kids, back in the day, you kids, and then your mom go to work, but she always left that one person in charge. But if it's 3 or more, y'all, we gonna overtake that one person because they ain't really doing anything anyway but cleaning up and watching soap operas. Well, it's the same way with the country. If everybody was to themselves, and like they have, right now they're fighting the pirates and the cartels, then who's governing those people? You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's why we are all over there. So Iran, one of their keys was to get us out of the Middle East. They were going to attack us. They were going to attack all our bases over there.
Yeah.
So then they could do exactly what they wanted to. But there's another player in this also. Because I think for the first time, Shank, in probably about 45 years, the United States is finally operating as a sovereign country, because we have been operating under the it's called the British. Help me out here, Isaiah, if you know. It's to make a long story short, the Queen had the pocketbook to everybody. You feel me? So now look at our relationship between the U.S. and Britain now. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because to get everybody operating as what we are, sovereign countries, making, exchanging goods, everybody's making money, and the people are happy.
Yes.
But right now, this has just been building and building and building. I digress, Shank.
I agree with you. I
Okay.
agree.
Okay, let me just slide in for a second. It
Yeah.
says a sovereign country is a defined territory with a permanent population, a government, and the capacity to enter
Yeah.
relations with other states, maintaining independence from foreign control. It says as of 2024, there are 193 UN member states and 2 observer states. That's Palestine and the Vatican City, totaling 195 widely recognized sovereign states, though some fake those states like Taiwan. Now, let's chop this up when it comes to the states, because, correct me if I'm wrong, Israel is not a country. Israel is a state, correct?
That is correct.
Yes, that is correct.
So if Israel is a state, how is Israel, I'm going to say it, how is Israel controlling the world?
It's not about that kind of control, though. You understand what I mean? Remember when I talk about when, to
Is
really know the full history of Israel, you got to refer back to the Bible. Now, somebody put that in your chat last night. I don't know. It might have been Leslie, I believe. And so that's why it's important that they're protected. But when we go back to what you were reading, gosh, I kind of forgot. Lost my chain of thought there. Oh, I'm gonna just digress for a minute because I forgot my chain of thought. I got to
Okay.
come back to it.
So if it's biblical, right? And according to the scriptures, it is. But allegedly, I gotta say allegedly, the Jews that is in power in Israel isn't the real Jews. Could it be that, I believe 1979, when the Ayatollah, he released 13 black hostages, because he said that the blacks are already being oppressed in America already. Why is it? Okay, I believe it was right before Trump got in office, or even when it was before he got in office. Putin said that he's going to do what with the black Jesus. The reason why I'm throwing these things out there, because is it time? And then I'm going to digress. Is it time for Debo to get knocked out? Is it time for Craig? Come on in, Mel. Knock
No.
Debo out. Go ahead.
Remember, I told you, Debo is ushering in a new world order. Now, go back to what Putin said, I think about 2 years ago. He said that the United States will never prosper until they give the land back to the rightful owners. Which are who?
Us.
However, the chess players in the middle, like, think about what people seem to not let us forget, but let's take it back there. Who was our oppressor? Like the slave owners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then the slaves were free, but in a sense, that's why I always say it's great to learn about all of this, but as far as the land, the cities, the states, and towns, Trump has turned that over to the people. you have to govern yourselves, right? And so that's why certain things happen in certain states, and people say, "Why Trump?" Mm-mm. You got to get. It's up to the people to get our states and cities and towns right. You understand what I'm saying? And work together in a limit so that everybody live free. You know, everybody's just happy. You know, everybody's just. You know, always what I always tell you. 1979 seemed like to be the best year because that was the year Jimmy Carter was elected, and so they even handled him differently. You understand? Even though he knew.
Let me grab this comment from OT real quick. I see you, Casino C. OT says Israel operates as a sovereign, influential state with a complex, often contested international presence, and that's so true.
He's right. And what was the key word? Sovereign. The United States is finally, since 1945, operating as a sovereign country because we weren't before. We were under that British thing. So the Queen of England really was running the show. So now if you go and look at the latest stuff, the latest information about the United States relationship with Britain is not the same. It's not the same because Donald Trump is knocking all that out. You know, we're not going to no longer operate under that.
Now, I want to talk about what you were saying. It's up to the people. Has it always been up to the people?
It has, but let me see. I want to make sure that I wrote this correctly. It has been, but remember what I told you about what happened the other day at the funeral?
Yes.
That's what's wrong. The younger generation, your millennials, probably some of your Gen Zs and whatever the next younger generations are, they understand, you know, our forefathers and slavery and all that, but they're not operating like that. But that seems to be the only thing that it seems to be pushing the same thing in the same direction is talk about slavery and this and that and that. And it's there's another thought process. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Let me grab this real quick from OT. OT says Israel provides a strategic American foothold in the region as well as intelligence and advanced technological partnerships.
Now you see how the information's there, and you know it's important to really know what's going on. That's why our presence, there is world laws. So again, it's like being left at home with your older sister then, but if the older sister dealing with 3 younger kids, they still gonna be doing what the heck they want to, and their sister gonna be sitting there watching the soap operas, and they don't care because they're really in control because it's 3 against 1, right?
Yep. Now let me ask you this. Will America fall? Now, every great nation has fell. Will America fall?
It's not going to fall. It's just going to change.
If
So
we don't
call it a fall.
If we don't come together, you know, as one,
He's right.
I'm afraid it will, you know, eventually fall if we don't, you know, come together as one.
It don't look like we coming together now, but that's just me. That's just me.
this is not a microwave process. If you understand what I mean when I say about that.
Yes.
You know, there's two types of popcorn. You can put it in the microwave and it pop in 1.5 minutes. And if you go a little bit over, it get burnt, right? But if you put it in a slow popper, it pops slowly in the air. And then at the end of that cycle, you got this nice fluffy popcorn. This is not a microwave situation that's going on. It's going to take time. But you got to move all, as you said, you got to move all the obstacles out the way first. But it's going to take time. So this is not something that we can look to be over, because you have to realize, like, even when they took the man out of Venezuela, look how happy the people were and how they began to flourish. You understand what I'm saying? Because they were another country that refused to, you know, cooperate in the peace agreements. There's another country out there that now they're rebelling. But why, I don't know. They don't have enough firepower to fight nobody, really. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I understand exactly what you're saying.
I see you, Lulu. I see you, Lulu.
We still gotta come together, you know.
No sign press office declaring no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. The president on board Air Force One was out about reports based on the U.S. 70 people, mostly children.
Based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran. Is that true, Mr. Hank? We're certainly investigating.
This war pulling in Lebanon, where the Iran-backed group Hezbollah is fighting fire with Israel. And the toll of this growing conflict is being felt right across the country. An estimated 500,000 civilians have been displaced.
Now let me slide. Appreciate this super sticker, Lulu. Are we wrong? Are the United States wrong for
No,
these bombings that is killing these innocent children?
no. At the end of the day, Shank, they're called casualties of war. It happens. No war is going to be perfect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll give you an example. You got firefighters, you have police, you have paramedics, you have flight attendants, pilots. All these jobs can cause either one of those service people to lose their lives, right? I know sometimes people really, and I'm saying this loosely because I currently have a child in the military, but I also know that she wasn't drafted. She signed up for that. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So she know what comes with that. I know what comes with that. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the same way that the paramedic does, or the firefighter. Firefighters lose their life, you know, trying to save someone else's life or put out a fire. Police officers lose their lives daily. Paramedics. So someone in the military is the same way. It's not like anybody's being drafted, right? They're choosing on their own will, right? So there's no war where it's going to be perfect and there are no casualties. So you can't blame anybody for that.
Let me ask you this: Will
Yeah.
you say this? Will you feel the same way if we start having casualties? Will you feel the same way?
We have casualties in over here every day, just from us.
I'm not talking about from us. I'm talking about from at the hands of Iran.
So, if I understand you correctly, you're saying is that if there was some way that they were able to come, well, I, I do. We already was struck before. Remember, Twin Towers?
I'm not talking about Afghanistan
No,
and
I'm talking about the United States. Remember the Twin Towers in New
yeah,
York?
but that was then. I'm speaking on now. What's going on with Iran? How would you feel if a daycare got bombed over here in the United States of America and Iran took responsibility for it? Would you still feel like, well, Shank, it is what it is. It's just casualties of war.
But that would be telling the truth, right? We can't pick
Yeah,
what
yeah.
country, right? So I wouldn't pick what country I would think that would be all right in. I don't think it's all right at all, but it is war, and unfortunately, that's war. So I can't say, oh my God, they hit over here, they hit a daycare center. Yes, I'm sad about that, but at the same time, I do understand what it is.
That's just what happens in war, man. That's casual casualties are going to happen in war. You know, that's just what it is.
I see you, Aqualine. I see you, Aqualine. Appreciate you.
Okay,
A
so what I was
disused
telling you
city mall
earlier, oh,
has taken on a new purpose. Vacant shops turned into makeshift shelters. It's here I meet 11-year-old. So many children has grown far too accustomed to war. How do you feel? Scared?
No,
You're not scared?
no, 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 no. أبدا.
Why? How?
الانتياز.
I'm brave. She'll return home with her mom when this war ends, she tells me. But when that will be is anyone's guess. Even the youngest here know that.
And Danielle joins us from Beirut tonight. Danielle, the Israelis issuing yet another urgent evacuation warning tonight.
That's right, Jose. And it appeared to be directed at those residents who didn't leave after the first evacuation order a couple of days ago, suggesting yet more strikes are about to hit the city and more people are about to be displaced. Jose.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app.
All right, come on in, Mel.
yeah, I guess I mean nobody wants war. You know what I mean? But sometimes it's necessary, and I can say that it doesn't matter if it was Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. When it came to Iran, it was necessary. You know what I mean? But
this bakery needs new equipment.
I think it's hard for everybody to,
so they're
to
going
kind
to
of
On Deck,
draft.
the online.
And this has been going on. It's just that now that you have social media and the internet, we see this stuff in real time. Out of all the wars that have happened over decades, how do we know daycare centers wasn't hit and things like that? We don't know that because we never had access to the information. So then it has us all feeling some type of way. But I don't know. I don't know how to say this in the right way. Is it better to have 10 casualties or 200,000?
Let me grab this from OT. OT says, yeah, I feel it's wrong because if a bomb hit a neighborhood that's closer to me and harm someone that I knew, I would be in a rage regardless. Let me come back to this.
And that's a good one. So I want to ask this question. How do we prevent that?
I don't think we can. Not
we
now.
We got to strike first.
I don't think we can.
We have to strike first. Yeah.
We at war.
To be quite honest, I don't think we can. But we kind of knew this was coming. It was only a matter of time.
Let me come to this real quick, y'all.
Welcome back. And joining me now is the Foreign Minister of Iran, Abbas Arachi. Mr. Foreign Minister, welcome to Meet the Press. Being here, I have to question on everyone's mind, who is in charge in Iran right now?
Well, it is already known. The council of the interim leadership council is now in charge, and they are doing their act in the absence of the leader, while a new supreme leader is going to be elected soon by the Assembly of Experts. And the president and the cabinet are also are doing their duties. Parliament, everything is in its place.
Well, there are reports this morning that the Iranian Assembly of Experts has come to a decision on a new supreme leader for Iran. Many have suggested it would be the son of the late supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei. Will he be the next leader of Iran?
Well, nobody knows. Actually, there are lots of rumors around, but we have to wait for the Assembly of Experts to convene and vote for the new supreme leader and the one who is elected by them.
Do you think he should be the next leader of Iran?
Well, anybody which is elected by the Assembly of Experts would be the next supreme leader of Iran. And as you know, the members of the assembly are already, elected directly by the people.
Now, let me ask y'all this. So now here comes a new leader. Now, will the new leader seek revenge for the Ayatollah's death? Will the new leader roll with Trump's punches? Or will the new leader set out to make a name for himself? Any thoughts?
That's hard to say. That's hard to say, but as you can see, when you go back, when you refer back to the last clip you had, they wanted to cease, but Trump says not until all conditions are met. So he said 5 weeks. So we'll see what happened after 5 weeks. Well, now it should be 4 weeks.
All right, I'm going to run a little bit more of this, then we're going to get out of here.
All right, well, President Trump says he should pick the new leader of Iran. Will Iran allow President Trump to have any role?
Domestic affairs. This is up to the Iranian people to elect their new leader. They have already elected the Assembly of Experts, and the Assembly of Experts would do the job.
Let me just slide in. You take out our leader. Now you want to elect, or now you want to put the leader that you want to put in there. If this ain't bullying 101 at its finest. Phyllis says, look up how God is using Iran in the Bible and what's to come later. And that's what this demonstration is about. Iran said they got something for Debo's ass. Just wait until Friday. They're not going to roll over. They're not going to take this. They're not just take. My man, he even saying it. My man like, look, we're going to decide. And they got that right to decide. They got that right. Hold tight, y'all. I'm going to let y'all come in. Hold tight. Shay says, I think getting revenge on Trump as the only man to worry about. They know they have to deal with people that protect him. See, this is for me, like I said. Now, all right, you took him out. but you really don't expect Iran, because you got to keep in mind, you might have defeated Iran, or you might have took out their leader. They can live with that because you are America. So when they go before they countries, the Islamic countries, it's not no shame. But now you trying to poke them in the ass by telling them, we're going to choose your leader. Iran is not going to lay down. And there's biblical scriptures. I'm glad that Phyllis pointed that out. It is biblical scriptures that talk about this. Hold tight.
It is only the business of the Iranian people and nobody else's business.
President Trump says there will be no deal with Iran except for, quote, unconditional surrender. Will Iran agree to unconditional surrender for the sake of bringing this war to an end, Mr. Foreign Minister?
Well, previous time, last year in June, that when Israel started to attack us, President Trump used the same phrase, unconditional surrender. That was the tweet he made. And that didn't happen. We resisted, and after 12 days, Israelis asked for unconditional ceasefire. So we never give up, we never surrender, and we continue to resist as long as it takes. We continue to defend ourselves, and we are defending our territory, our people, and our dignity. And our dignity is not for sale.
And let me slide in. What did the Iranian little girl act? Well, what did she say when the question was asked? She ain't scared. She ain't nervous. Oh, well, let's ride it out. Imagine a reporter asking a little girl from America if they got bombed. If we get bombed today or tomorrow, a day can't get bombed today or tomorrow. We lose innocent young lives. Do you think that a little girl in America would respond the same? They're not. And I'm going to tell you why. Iranians, they're used to war. We're not. Hold tight. I think getting revenge on Trump as the, okay, I read that. Ego, people that's a narcissist think about themselves, not other people while he is hiding. OT says exactly. All Trump doing is causing chaos and confusion everywhere he goes with us, left to survive with what we were dealt with. They ready for war. They're not backing down. Why should they back down? You know, they are a proud people, just like we are a proud people. So for me, I always run into these kind of debates because 70% I agree with Trump. 30% I disagree. So I always run into these kind of issues because I be like, okay, I'm rocking with Trump on that. I can understand why he done that. But then it's like, you might not want to do that. Now, in Trump's defense, this is what I will say about Trump. And I personally know guys like this. I've been around guys like this. And even when I'm put in this situation, I'm the same way. You got to go hard or go home. So I believe in Trump's mind, and this is just me thinking, in Trump's mind, he like, fuck it. I done already kicked this shit off. Ain't no need me kicking some shit off and then deciding to pack up and go home. I kicked it off. I want it all. I ain't mad. I ain't mad at all. Trump wants it all. I ain't mad. Hold tight, Mel and Isaiah.
Well, let me ask you, because what conditions would Iran accept to bring this war to an end?
Well, actually, we are not at that point yet. Obviously, this time is different from the previous time. Last time we accepted the ceasefire, but this time is quite different, and the reason is obvious. Last time they attacked us, they made aggression against us, they killed our people, they destroyed our places, and then asked for a ceasefire, and we accepted out of good faith because we were only exercising the act of self-defense. And when the aggression was stopped, we stopped too. But it didn't bring about peace. And now this year they again started to attack us. And again they have, they are killing our people. They are killing, girl students. They are attacking hospitals. Freshwater desalinations. Refineries. Everywhere, people have been killed, places have been destroyed, and now they want to ask for a ceasefire again. Well, this doesn't work like this. So there should.
Let me slide in before I let y'all come in. You gotta understand where my man coming from. It's like you pop me upside the head. You know what I mean? You hit me all in my mouth, and you like, okay, my bad. Let's go ahead. And work out something. And I'm like, shit, all right, let's work out something. Now, here you come again, wanting to kick me in my ass. And it's like, come on back in, Mel and Isaiah. Make some sense out of this, somebody.
Go ahead, Isaiah.
I just know that we're at that stage. We're at that point in America's history where we saw COVID-19 at the drop of a dime. Our world, we saw that with social media. At the drop of a dime, our world, y'all gotta realize the stages that is taking place. Things never stay the same. Some people call it evolution, but things never stay the same. So we can be as comfortable as we want. I'll say it again. Things never stay the same. In my walks of life, things has never stayed the same. For me and for any and everybody that was around me. Nothing never stays the same. I'm talking to the American people. Be on point. Be ready. Be ready. And just like Debo wasn't ready for that ass whooping that Craig put on him, the American people wasn't ready for 911. Some say it was an inside job. However, the people wasn't ready for 911, 9/11. A little bit more, then we're going to get out of here, y'all.
It would be a permanent end of the war. And unless we get to that, I think we need to, continue fighting for the sake of our people and our security.
We are going to get to the reports about some of the deaths in just a moment, but just to stay on this topic, would Iran ever agree to a ceasefire to get back to the negotiating table to end all of this military conflict?
Well, they have to explain why they started this aggression before we come to the point to even consider a ceasefire. Of course, nobody wants to continue this war. This is not our war. This is not the war of our choice. This is imposed on us by the United States, by Israelis. They have, started this war unprovoked, unwarranted, illegally. And what we are doing is legal act of self-defense, and we have every right to do that. So it is not fair that if only stops the aggression and ask us to stop too. As I said, this time is different.
Let me ask you about some of what Iran has been doing. Iran has launched hundreds of missiles at 13 other nations in the region. On Saturday, the Iranian president apologized for those strikes on neighboring Gulf states. Was it a mistake for Iran to attack its neighbors?
Well, it is a mistake if you consider that Iran is attacking its neighbors. No, we are not attacking our neighbors. We are attacking American bases, American, installations, American assets, which are unfortunately located in the soils of our neighbors. So we are not attacking our neighbors. We are attacking Americans who are attacking us. We are retaliating. We have not started this war. It is Americans who started this war against us, attacking us, and we are defending ourselves. So it is obvious that our missiles cannot reach the US soil. What we can do is to attack American bases and American installations around us, which are unfortunately in the soils of our neighborly countries.
Mel, I'm gonna leave you the last words. Come in on that. Any last words, Mel?
Right. So now you see what I was saying, right? So the threat of that here is different, but remember, he's saying what he's supposed to say as someone from that country, but he failed to not mention what started this, and it was the Ayatollah's threat to Trump and America. You can't threaten somebody. You know that, Shank, from the street. You just can't threaten somebody and then what?
Act like ain't nothing gonna happen to you. Now,
eventually that threat comes a promise, right?
Yeah, somebody coming to see you. Now, let me just ask you this. Was his threat, did he jump off the porch himself, or did Trump knock on his door and talk ish or call him out, and then that made him, issue the threat, like, handle your business? What was the threat?
Remember in the beginning of his presidency, Trump met with everybody, right? Even there were other countries over there fighting each other, but everybody signed a peace agreement. But his agreement came with stipulations, and I think it was like, okay, well, they were working out with Israel themselves. But they were sneak dissing. So they was bombing Israel. And then Israel started retaliating. So Trump called another meeting. So at that point, he already knew that they weren't going to conform. You understand? So they had to do the best thing, because you heard he said out his own mouth, we're attacking US. But he had already threatened that. Right? So did he make good on his threat? He said it may appear like that they're bombing their neighbors, but they're not. They're bombing US Americans. They're bombing our military bases. That happens just to be in these neighboring countries. Everybody know that. They've been there since forever. So did the Ayatollah make good on his threat? He may not have been able to. He may not been able to do nothing. He may not have been able to get Trump directly, but he still began to bomb U.S. military bases. And Trump has already said, if you touch one hair on the U.S. military servicemen, you're gonna have hell to pay. Did he make right on his promise?
Yeah.
So he is doing everything he can, not only to protect Americans abroad, but also here. But they know it's got some time. So again, let's go back. That's why he had to take Israel out first, because Israel missiles can hit Miami. He knew that. So they had to, they say playing chess, he had to knock them chess pieces down one by one. So he had to do that so that he could protect America. Again, I'm just, I just take my time and look at stuff and just kind of go research myself. So I'm not really speaking like I'm talking up on one person or another. But it is the truth is the truth. It is what it is, right? You just still have to, still be cautious. Because there was I listened to a black girl that she had, attended the funeral, and she was talking about how when the Venezuela stormed into Chicago, they was kicking in people's doors. Right? When did the Venezuela? Well, we know when you know what? We was covering Shankwella when the Venezuela started backdooring and coming in through Mexico. You remember that?
I remember.
And how Coffee Girl was talking about all those people were in, I forgot what city in Texas she lived in, and that they were everywhere, and the people that lived there they couldn't even move around.
I remember.
You remember that? And they thought they was Mexicans, but then found out they weren't Mexicans, they was Venezuelans. So things are not as we think they are, because we have been infiltrated at the end of the day. And I will digress with that, Shank.
All right, appreciate you, Mel.
All right.
All right, y'all.
But Mr. Foreign Minister, if you're not attacking your neighbors, why did the Iranian president apologize?
Well, first of all, apology in our culture is a sign of dignity and strength. Secondly, he apologized from the peoples of the region for the inconveniences they have faced because of this aggression by the United States and retaliation by us. So as a matter of fact, it is in fact the president of the United States who should apologize from the people of the region and Iranian people for the killings and destructions they have done against us.
Let me ask you, because NBC News is reporting that Iran is receiving help from Russia to help locate U.S. forces. Are you receiving any help from Russia?
Well, we have a strategic partnership with Russia.
So that's a yes?
And well, a military cooperation between Iran and Russia is not something new. It's not a secret. It has been in the past and is still there and will continue in the future.
Is Russia helping you locate U.S. forces? I just want to be very clear here.
Well, I don't have exact military information.
And I gotta slide in, y'all. Remember what I was saying. I see you, Wolf. I see you, Wolf. Remember what I was saying, y'all. Debo got his ass knocked out on Friday, not by the actual person that he slapped, not by the person that he was beefing with. Now, you got Russia. You got to remember, last time I checked, Russia hates the United States of America guts. It may not be Iran that might knock out America. Hell, it may not even be Russia. It just might be China. That's the point. That's the plane that I was trying to land from the very beginning, as far as the timing, perfect timing. Now, we know that Debo had already tried to choke Craig out in Smokey's backyard. So he had already had a run-in with Debo, right? Same way with Russia. Russia then already had a run-in with America. Continue to have run-ins with America. China. You got all these other countries that's sitting on the sideline watching this. As I said before, perfect timing. Perfect timing. Mel says China don't want no smoke with us. They are focused on Taiwan. listen to me. I've been on both sides of the coin, and I've seen some things amongst other people. I've seen this before, and I'm sure many of you all have seen this before. Wolf says, I wouldn't be so sure. We've seen it when, prime example, how many of y'all remember Mike Tyson against Buster Douglas? Nobody in a million years thought that Buster Douglas was going to knock out Mike Tyson, correct? Peaches says, I understand assignment. Nobody thought that. Mike Tyson got his ass knocked out. The point that I'm trying to make, and that's why I titled this, Iran said they got something for Debo's ass. Just wait until Friday. And I'm going to leave y'all on that. I'm going to say it again for y'all. Iran said they got something for Debo's ass. Just wait until Friday. Salute everybody.
As I know, we have a very good partnership with Russia.
So they are helping you. They are providing intelligence.
Well, they are helping us in many different directions. I don't have any detailed information.
Okay, let's move to the strike on the elementary school in southern Iran. It killed more than 170 people, including many children. President Trump said Iran is responsible for that strike. What is your response to what the president said?
Well, it is funny. It is our school. These are our students, our girls, and they are attacked by an American fighter, a jet fighter, and they have been killed. Why Iran is responsible? Have we started this war? Have we attacked our own people? No, we were negotiating with the United States. And in the middle of negotiations, in the middle of diplomacy, they decided to attack us. And they have attacked so many places, including schools and hospitals. And there are all evidences that this school is attacked by an American, jet fighter.
Where is the Iranian evidence that this was a U.S. attack, a jet fighter, as you say? Will you provide
If it was not U.S., then who was that? Maybe Israelis. But it is obvious who else is attacking us.
Well, let me move on to this question about potential ground troops. You said earlier this week on U.S. ground troops to my colleague Tom Yamas, quote, "We are waiting for them." But President Trump says the condition for sending troops to Iran would be that Iran, quote, would be so decimated that they wouldn't be able to fight at the ground level. Is the president right? Would you not be able to fight at the ground level, Mr. Foreign Minister?
Well, at least this is not the case right now. For the time being, we are capable enough. We have very brave soldiers who are waiting for any enemy who enter into our soil to fight with them and to kill them and destroy them. So, and that would be the case in the coming days and the coming years, and in always in our in Iran.
Welcome everybody to this demonstration. What does Shank Rock Films mean to the community? Well, Shank Rock Films is a place for people like you and I with a story to tell, with a story that needs to be exposed. Shank Rock Films is a place for that story to be told on. Unfortunately, platforms aren't able to get to everybody's story. And that's okay. That's fine. We want to thank those platforms that do bring us stories. We want to thank them for the stories that they do bring. Once again, my platform is all about the people with these stories that can't make it to these larger platforms. So thanks to everybody that has been supporting me. I do have a lot of back stories that I need to get pushed out into the algorithm to make these stories go viral. I really need for you to share the stories. Now, people say, well, Shank, what is sharing going to do? Sharing is going to help push that story into the algorithm. I've been able to be on the team of some stories that have made it viral. How did they go viral? The shares. The shares, the shares, the shares. So I see a lot of people that visit my page. I see a lot of people that's in my stories. I see a lot of people that's in my friend suggestions, which lets me know that the people is watching Shank Rock Films. So now what I need the people to do, I need the people to share these stories. What stories, Shank Rock? Any stories that you see me put in the title, please share this story to help make go viral. Those are the stories that I need for you to help me make go viral. In LA right now, I have a story out here in LA that me and John Barnett is covering. And this story, and you'll hear about this story later on at the press conference, but this story is one of those stories that you be like, wow, they did him like that. I'll give y'all just a little peep on what this story is about. It's about a young man that has been incarcerated for 6 years, going on 7 years. His co-defendants have been to trial. His co-defendants beat the case. But this young man, after 6 years, going on 7 years, is still being detained with no bond. Make sure y'all stay tuned for Shank Rock Films press conference, Los Angeles, California. Salute everybody, and I appreciate all of the support that I have been getting. Salute everybody.